I just filmed this whole video like a turtle? Before we begin, I just want to let all my friends at the FTC know that this book that I'm about to discuss was sent to me free of charge by Penguin UK in exchange for my honest review, so that will be what this video is. Hey, what's up? Hello! Today I am very excited to talk about Modern Romance by Aziz Ansari and Eric Kleinenberg. I have been wanting to read this book since it came out and just never got around to it and didn't get a copy. And then Penguin UK was lovely and sent me the paperback UK edition, which instead of the great cover of Aziz with like the emoji heart eyes and his phone has this great anatomical construction of a heart, and it is fantastic, and the back cover is orange and it feels very, very penguin-y. So this book is titled as an investigation. It is sort of psychology, humor, nonfiction. It is super rad. Both the authors sort of set out to investigate how modern romance is different than it was in previous generations, and how technology and all that comes with it has sort of shaped the way that we look for a partner. They say in the introduction of this book that it really focuses on heterosexual American relationships, which is necessary to sort of streamline the content and really have a tight group for all of their research. But they do also touch on relationships outside of those two characteristics as well. This book reads like a hilarious research essay because that is what it is. Their studies are all sort of sprinkled in with commentary and anecdotes from the author's life, as well as different pictures and charts and graphs and screenshots of things from people who they interview and their willingness to open up and share like their phone conversations and their photos from their dating profiles online and all kinds of stuff like that. There are so many anecdotes, and each one of them gets a response from Aziz, whose book this voice is written in, and that was probably the thing that made this the most enjoyable. I almost thought about purchasing the audiobook so I could hear it while I read along with it, because it translates so well onto the page. If you know him from any of his stand-up or from Parks and Recreation, you will enjoy listening to him read this book even as you are reading it without actually hearing him speak. This book is organized really well also. It starts with them interviewing a bunch of older folks at a senior center in New York City and asking them how they found their partners when they were younger, and then transitioning into the technologies that we have today and how those technologies have changed the scope of people that we have available to us to find a potential partner, and how it's changed the way we look for people and interact with people, and how we reply to people that we don't want talking to us. The book is then sectioned into chapters like making the initial ask when you first want to ask someone on a date, and then into all other kinds of things that now having this wide range of people and a wide range of options opens up to us, such as like cheating and jealousy, and if we have so many options, does it make it harder to make that choice about what you actually want? Will you always be thinking that there is something better out there? And how all of those ideas swim around in our heads until we are just absolutely so baffled. And finally, at the end, there is a chapter about settling down and what that really means to people in this day and age. I'm not going to say millennials because I don't like the connotation that millennials have gotten. Why do we have to keep talking about them as this group that people hate? There's a definite theme throughout this book of this is a really challenging thing in this day and age, finding somebody, and we're all in it together and we're all really confused, particularly the way that we do things here in America and things that have become norms. They also touch on places like France and Japan and how they sort of do things very differently there, and how there's sort of like this dearth of people looking for love and relationships happening in Japan, and how things are just a lot more casual and infidelity is not so stigmatized as bad in France. Those ideas are brought up not often, but every once in a while. They sort of felt rushed and just thrown in there for the sake of having a comparison, so I think that probably could have been a little bit more fleshed out, even though in the beginning they note that that is not the focus of the book. But those comparisons just being a little longer would have been nice, although their inclusion did prove that Americans are not the only ones struggling with this new age of trying to find a partner. My perspective reading this book was definitely interesting because I read it as a woman and it was written by two men. In the book they often take to task the creepy people and the weird awful stuff that happens to women while they are in their dating lives and how it shouldn't be happening, and it definitely feels like there is a feminist bent to this book almost, or perhaps not quite feminist so much as just like, people, please be nice to each other and don't be weird and don't ask people to do stuff they don't want to do. Like, be respectful of everyone. That message comes across in this book a lot, which I highly appreciated, because sometimes you will find books that want to take that vein and they are not quite so respectful of everyone in every situation. So I applaud the authors for doing that. On top of that, this book totally just nails how my generation seems to find each other. There's some really beautiful like text messages and charts and photos in here, and I've seen so many examples of these exact kind of things with friends, with people I went to school with, just hearing about how this kind of stuff really does affect how people are looking for partners, and I think that this is a highly accurate account of how this happens in the American young adult scene. Young adult sounds like the wrong word to use there. People that are in emerging adulthood. That's the phrase they use in this book. So emerging adults, this is the book for you. This is pretty accurate if you are looking for a heterosexual relationship in America. Overall, I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I would definitely recommend it if you are a fan of Aziz Ansari or want to try to understand better how to look for someone in your own life. Read it. It's great. And even though I haven't listened to it, I would probably highly recommend the audiobook. I actually do think I'm going to get that, if that says anything about my enjoyment of this book. So that's that. Thank you all for watching. I hope you're having lovely weeks and lovely lives, and I'll see you very soon.